In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to drain and do a transmission pan reseal on a Subaru Legacy Outback 99. Our transmission pan is located right there in the dark, and we'll be draining the old nasty fluid, taking off the pan and resealing it. I'll also be changing the external filter. So let's start off by draining the old fluid out. So there we have the transmission drain plug. And this is a 17mm bolt that you will have to remove. I'll give that a good pull, and that came loose really easy. That's quite the surprise. Usually any bolts that are on this vehicle are usually torqued down super tight, so here we go. Ooh. Almost missed, and that is some nasty fluid right there. Brown. It's supposed to be a red. It's not even a dark red, it's just brown. Ooh, it stinks too. Yum, yum. I'll tell you what, it smells like poop. There's a little bit of a red hue to it, but it's pretty nasty. I guess it's not all bad, it could be a lot worse. But we'll just let that drain for a while. That's pretty much done, so I'm just gonna put this bolt back on. Yeah, so I'm gonna tighten this down. Then we have all these little bolts around the whole pan to remove, and one of them is gonna be hard because of the catalytic converter up there. And I believe these are all 10mm bolts. It's gonna be fun, and when we remove this pan, a whole bunch more fluid is gonna dump out. Welcome below. So here's all those bolts I was telling you about. It's gonna be fun. There's some, or at least one, right up there by the catalytic converter. That's going to be a huge pain to get, but I'm going to use a swivel, and hopefully it'll be no issue. This is held on by RTV. Subaru's from the factory. That's how they sealed their gaskets, including the oil pan. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to buy a pan. I'm just going to RTV it with ultra gray or ultra black. And when we remove this pan, there's going to be a whole bunch of fluid trapped in there. So, I'm going to get to it. I don't know how much you're going to see, but it's pretty simple. You just remove these bolts. They're 10mm. I got a little collection cup to put them in. Before I do remove this, I'm going to leave a bolt attached somewhat here and on the other side, so when it comes loose, the whole pan doesn't just drop and fall. Alright, let's remove the pan. Before I decided to, I removed the drain plug because I figured more fluid probably came down, and sure enough, it did. So, still dripping slightly. Gonna put it back on just for now, because when I pull this pan, I'm gonna try to tilt it in one direction so all the fluid doesn't spill out everywhere, and then try to hopefully control it and dump it into the oil catch pan at the bottom here. Get that nice and snug. Probably won't scratch up the surface. I got my big old putty knife thin here. Couldn't find my smaller one, but this big one's nice. Get in that wedge with a hammer. I'll get my plastic ones in here like that. There we go. That works pretty good. There we go. Slide that down. Yeah. Get my tools out of the way for this mess. I think she's loose. Hopefully it doesn't fall into the oil catch pan. I got it. Set that over there for now. Get out of the way. There she comes. Perfect. Look at that. There's the rest of the fluid I was worried about. Didn't even spill a drop. Nice. Yum. Dump the rest of that in there. And that's the guts of the transmission. And there's the transmission. There's a what people think is a screen up there is actually not a screen. It is a screen. What people think it is a filter. Some people will change that. I'm not going to. Right there. That's just the strainer screen. That's where it sucks up the fluid. It's not a filter. There's not really a need to change it. I'm just going to leave it. So here we have it, the inside of the transmission pan. And it looks pretty good. A little bit of RTV in the bottom of the pan. I don't know if that's from me messing with it, trying to get it free, and it like launched a piece in there or what. There's our magnet with all the little metal shavings. Actually doesn't look too bad. That's normal. That's what it's supposed to do, is collect that. There is a little bit of some goldish looking metal over here. But next, basically I'm going to clean the inside of the pan up, clean up the mating surface, and then make sure I didn't warp the lip right here, because that is where I was prying on it. And if I did, I'll just, after I clean it up, I'll flip it over, hammer on it on this metal table. Should be good to go. So let me clean it up real quick. And then, of course, I'm going to clean the underside of the transmission as well. Got the transmission surface all clean, and let me tell you, Scotch-Brite pad is your friend. You want to get one of those. It helps you out a lot. It's a very light abrasive. I just did it by hand. There were some scratches. I'm pretty sure that's not from me. Someone was in here before, I'm pretty certain. But I'm showing you under here because when we put on the pan, I'm going to use RTV. You can get yourself a gasket, but I believe the RTV seals better. It's more of a pain if you have to do this, though. But that'll be enough. But if you use RTV like I am, there's 3 holes you have to fill. That being the biggest one right there. You have to fill that up with like ultra gray or whatever you want to use, equivalent gasket maker. So there's that one. And there's that one right there. These aren't screw holes. I'm not sure what these are for, but they're just holes. You're supposed to fill them. So that one there. Then there's one more all the way right there. And before I seal this all up, I'm going to wipe this down. Of course, you want to use brake parts cleaner as well to clean the surface. So right before I put the pan on, I'm going to clean this surface off so it's not oily. It's still leaking transmission fluid, so it's still getting everywhere on the surface. So right before I put it on, I'm going to get a rag and wipe all this down, and hopefully it'll stop dripping long enough for me to get the pan on. Here's the transmission pan all cleaned up. Got the surface cleaned, the mating surface, as well as the inside of the pan clean. Don't forget to clean the magnet and put it back. And now we are ready to put some ultra black or ultra gray, or the right stuff, whatever you want to use, RTV gasket maker on this pan. I also let the bolts soak in degreaser to help clean them up a bit. And they are ready to go. So I used ultra black gasket maker. It's on here. I thought I was putting a small amount on there, and then once I started spreading out, it's a little bit too much. So just use a really thin bead to go around the pan, and then just spread it out with your finger. You don't want to get too much like I did. Even then, mine's not a lot. It may look like it, but it's still a little much. It's a little overkill. You definitely don't want to overdo it, because when you torque this down, it's going to squish out and into the pan, and you really don't want it going in, but this will do. I've seen worse. So let's get this on the transmission. Of course, I put the RTV in those 3 holes on the transmission. So let's get over there. Watch the lip with the catalytic converter. I'm just going to get some starter bolts on here. The RTV helps stick the pan on, so you can see I can let go of it now. And this takes a while. Doing it this way, going as fast as I can. Now with ultra black, it's high oil resistant, so it's good for oil pans and transmission pans. but you have to let it set for an hour before you torque it down. Ultra gray is meant for high torque settings, so areas that you have to get higher torque. And I don't know if you have to let that one set or not. To be honest, I've used ultra black without letting it set for an hour before torquing it down, and I've never had it leak on me, but you know, you want to be safe with these things, so. All right, I let that cure for an hour. Now it's time to torque down the bolts. I'm going to try to do this in a crisscross pattern. And you want to torque it down to about 5 foot-pounds, or in this case, since I have an inch-pound torque wrench, 60 inch-pounds. And if you want to know an easy way to convert from foot-pounds to inch-pounds without looking it up, just multiply the foot-pounds by 12. So 5 foot-pounds times 12 is 60 inch-pounds. So unfortunately, my camera cut out when I was torquing these down, so I torqued them down in a crisscross pattern. So I'd start from here, go to the other side of the pan, so on. I did the corners, crisscross the whole thing, and then I went all the way back around to make sure everything was torqued down. And of course, you have to use that swivel for that far corner because of that catalytic converter. So that's that one bolt that's back up in there. If you can see that, maybe. But yeah, camera cut out. This camera likes to do that, unfortunately. But now that this is all torqued on here, I'm gonna let it cure for 24 hours because I used ultra black. If you want to get this back on the road as soon as possible, I recommend using the right stuff. You can put that on and it cures in about 5 minutes, and then you can top it off with fluids and be back on the road as soon as possible. But now I'm just gonna let that wait. I'm gonna wait for 24 hours. Next thing, of course, I'm going to replace that transmission filter. It's just like a screw-on one, like the oil filters. And get that replaced. And then clean this up, degrease it, so if it is leaking, which I sure hope it doesn't, I'll be able to check. And yeah, next, of course, is filling it up with fluid after it cures. Alright, let's see if we can get this transmission filter off by hand. That's how you're supposed to be able to get this off right here. Will we, though? Let's find out. Oh, what a surprise. It's actually hand tight. Oh, we're going to have a leak there. Get the oil pan. Forgot about that. Now we can catch the oil that's going to drip out of this. Transmission fluid, I mean. Some good stuff there. All over the new seal on the pan. Probably should have removed this before I put the pan on. Oh well, it won't hurt nothing. It's supposed to resist transmission fluid anyways. My camera cut out again, but you basically just screw this right on, hand tight, and we're good. Now just wipe it down for a rag and we're good to go. Alright, so it's been 24 hours since we put on the Ultra Black, and now I'm going to top off the transmission fluid. So remove the dipstick and put a funnel down the dipstick tube, and then we'll top it off. A lot of transmission fluid came out, so I'm going to put about 1 gallon in here. This thing holds about 9 quarts, I believe. And when you remove the pan and drain it from the pan, you only get about 4 quarts out, so about half. And I got about 1 gallon inside here, so I probably have more than 1 gallon in here. So I'm just going to put 1 gallon in and then see where I'm at from there. Alright, so we got the gallon of transmission fluid in there. I'm going to dump in the old stuff, and yes, I am using SuperTech. I've been running it in my own daily car, no problem. So I've been running this stuff in my daily driver for like 5 years now, and it still looks brand new. It's got about 30,000 miles on it since I did the transmission flush. So I got the transmission mostly topped off, so I'm putting the dipstick back in. And with the dipstick back in, we're ready to get this thing back on level ground. Alright, so let's jack this thing up and get those jack stands out from underneath the car. And we'll try to gently lower this. so. Been a while since I've seen it on level ground, but next you want to do is take your Subaru for a drive, get it warmed up to get that transmission fluid warmed up, and then bring it back, shift through all your gears for a few seconds, let it sit in each gear for, I don't know, I guess 15-30 seconds, somewhere around there, put it in park, leave it running, and then check your transmission fluid while it's hot, and then add more as needed. So I'm going to do that next.